know you want it. I know you want it. It's easy to see. See, I don't care, but I know she ain't gonna wanna share.
The great thing about Ferraris is there are always two ways to look at them. You can either just stand back and take in the overall car and admire it. And interestingly, the head of design at Ferrari is now Frank Stevenson, who designed the new Mini. But perhaps even better with Ferraris is just to get close. I love going to look at the detailing of the cars. You just look at these little wing mirrors. They're not just styled. They are shaped aerodynamically to feed the air through the centre, flow the air back for the air intakes. Moving back, you just about, if you come with a camera, you can see that little tiny spoiler. That's not just for shape and good looks. That has been designed in the wind tunnel in conjunction with the flow for these Grand Prix Formula One styled Venturi. In fact, Robin, if you get the camera further away, get back in the centre of the car, right on the ground, then you can see that whole underbody shape designed to accelerate the airflow out the back of the car and thus suck it into the ground. You can't believe how light that is. Of course, it's all aluminium like the rest of the bodywork. And you can't help but look at these huge plenum chambers that dominate the view. In fact, the engine itself is right down in here, actually underneath that rear window. The most amazing thing about this is a V8 engine, 4.3 litres. This now produces 490 horsepower. Now, that is more than the Ferrari F430 supercar. Such is progress. Now, that's plastic, because Ferraris say that if that had been glass, it would be too much weight too high, and that would spoil the handling. I think they've gone a bit too far on that one.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Don't you? Don't you?
They take so long. They're always supposed to be quicker, but they still take long. When you want to get going, must be finished. So it must be time to... Now, here's a tempting little button, launch control, to make the perfect start every time. Now, what you have to do is switch the traction control off, foot on the brake, engage first gear, press LC, and the L flashes in the gear display. Now, you need to hold the revs at maximum torque, which is 5,250 RPM, and then just take your foot off the brake. I'd stand back a bit while you, Robin. Traction system also adapts the gear change time, the suspension settings, as well as increasing or decreasing traction control. It's got 5 settings. You can start right down in snowy conditions. It's then got rain, sport, race, and then totally switched off. So I think we'll start in the normal drive setting of sport. See how we get on from there. Second gear, turn, full throttle. And it just won't go anywhere. That was wide open. I think we'll move up to the race setting next. Here's that tight corner again. Again, we turn in, floor the throttle, and oh! But then, that was amazing. At first, the back went out. It allowed me to put the opposite lock on to control it, but then at the moment it would have spun on full throttle. Then the traction control came in and helped me out. That's a pretty impressive system. Impressive though that is, for the full track experience, it's just got to go off. Well, give the back out, get the front in, then punch the throttle. But now I have to do all the car control. But again, it feels so progressive. It just wants to be driven. Are you living a dream, lady? braking capabilities. Those carbon brakes are just fantastic. Oh, but after that blast of exhilaration, you sit back and enjoy just the whole comfort of sitting in this car. You can appreciate that it's a very easy car to drive. You always think of supercars as being ferocious machines that will scare the normal road driver. And yet with all the aids that this car supplies, it can be driven by any driver without getting themselves instantly in a twist. It's amazing to think this is a car that can do nearly 200 miles an hour. It's got 490 horsepower, but it can still be driven like an everyday sports saloon. But I don't really want to drive it like that.